All right, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to MDGR Midgar's Morning Mix with Scott and Mock. Now, Mock, we've got something interesting in the news today. There's a whole lot of buzz around the Sector 4 plate, especially about that little shopping area next to the market.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That stretch with the mom and pop shops? There's cafes, it's got the artisanal materia shop, little family-run stores that have been there forever. And guess what? Shinra's decided they need to revitalize it, which we all know is corporate speak for tear it down and slap some big brand names on it.
Yeah, that's the one. It's such a nice area, too. I've stopped by a couple of times to get a coffee and browse some of the shops around there. It's really got character. Like, you don't see that in most parts of Midgar anymore. Well, Shinra's got a different idea of what a good shopping experience should be.
Yeah, because what Midgar really needs is another chain store. There's definitely not enough of those around already. It's just frustrating, man. These small businesses were needed during the formation of Midgar. You know, like I remember workers relied on them, and now Shinra is going full corporate, flashing their gill, trying to pressure them into closing up shop. It's all about making room for their big brands, man.
Yeah, totally. I've heard some of these shops have been in their families for decades. I was talking to a lady who owns the bakery down there. She said her grandmother started the shop when Midgar was still being built. They've weathered everything, even Mako reactor expansions, and now they're being pushed out just because they can't keep up with Shinra's rental hikes.
It's all part of their strategy. Shinra controls everything from the top down, and it's not just about the Mako anymore. Now they want to control where we shop, what we eat, what brands we wear. It's insane. And, of course, they're going to dress it up like it's progress and good for the economy.
Yeah, good for the economy. For them, maybe, but what about the little guys? The ones who've built their lives around those businesses. It's not like they can just pack up and move somewhere else.
You know, we've been seeing this pattern all over Midgar, actually. Pushing out the old, unique parts of the city in favor for shiny, corporate developments. It's happening up on the plate, it's happening in the slums, it's happening everywhere.
And don't get me wrong, I like a good store as much as the next guy, but there's something special about walking down a street where you know the shop owners, where there's community. Those big brands, you're just another faceless credit card to them.
Exactly. And I don't know how these small business owners are going to fight it, to be honest. When Shinra wants something, they get it. They've got the resources, the influence, and they're not exactly subtle about it.
Huh. You think there's anything people can do to push back?
I don't know. I mean, people can raise awareness, I guess. Get the community involved. Maybe put pressure on Shinra through some channels. But with the way things work in Midgar, it's just going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Anyway, for those of you listening who still want to support these local shops in Sector 4, get down there while you can. Grab a cup of coffee, some fresh fruit, talk with the owners, because who knows how much longer they'll be around.
And also, don't just talk, you gotta listen too. These are people with stories, with history, and if they go, we're losing more than just some cute storefronts. We're losing a piece of the foundation of Midgar itself.
Well said, Mock. Wise words, my friend. All right, we've got more coming up, but before that, here's a track for anyone feeling a little nostalgic. Speaking of which, I was out last night just walking around Sector 3, one of those spontaneous strolls after hitting up a tiny vinyl shop that I found tucked away behind a noodle stand. And I don't know if it's the music or the vibe lately, but man, Midgar is really something else at night. It's strange. No matter how much Shinra tries to shape this city into their image, you still find these hidden corners that feel alive in a different way. You've got the hum of the reactors in the background, the lights from the plates overhead, but down in those little streets, it's like time slows down a bit. Found a street artist working under a broken lamppost. Guy's been painting the same wall for years. Still refuses to sell his work, too. Says it belongs to the city, just like the rest of us. It's moments like that, that make you appreciate the little things. Anyways, enough of my rambling. Up next, we've got something special, a classic from the good old days. This is Piranha Plant Lullaby. You're listening to MDGR, where the music and the city never sleep. All right. You're back with MDGR, Midgar's best music and worst commentary. I'm Scott, and I'm here with Mock, who just got back from playing a little bit of tourist outside the city. You did a whole thing with the wife this weekend, right, Mock?
Yeah, I did. Need a little break from the reactor fumes and the noise. We decided to head out to Calm. There's this small winery that's out there. It's about 2 hours by car, but definitely worth the drive. You ever been to Calm, Scott?
Calm? No, man, I don't know if they got enough cafes and vintage records to keep me entertained. But a winery, that's classy for you, Mock.
No, actually, I absolutely hate wine, but my wife likes it. To be honest, I was half expecting a Krill prison convict like me to get kicked out for not knowing what a Chardonnay was. But it was actually pretty laid back there. I mean, we're talking wide open fields, super like rolling hill type style. It's the kind of quiet you forget exists when you live in a, 8 Mako reactor powered city.
All right, so paint me a picture. What's it like? You sipping wine, looking out the fields, feeling all fancy.
I mean, something like that. The wine may have actually been some smuggled in whiskey, but let's call it wine. It's this small family run place. It's totally the opposite of the whole Midgar vibe. You walk in, okay, and the owner's son is the one showing you around. Real cool kid, too. They do this thing where you try a bunch of different wines they make right there on the property. My wife was loving it. Like I said, she's way more into it than I am. But it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, I can see you there. Like, what's the difference between this red and this other red?
No, exactly. I don't have the slightest clue what I'm talking about, but at least I'm a quick learner, right? By the end of the day, I was talking about the notes of oak and pretending like I knew what I was saying. My wife was actually kind of impressed. And that's all that matters.
Smooth. So, what's the highlight of the trip, aside from scoring points with the misses, of course?
Honestly, really just being away from everything. You know, away from the neon lights, away from the noise, away from the chocobo races. It's crazy how different it feels once you're outside of Midgar walls. The air's clean, if you can believe that. There's no constant hum of reactors. It's just peaceful. We took a walk through the vineyard after the tasting, and it was just super quiet. You don't realize how much noise we live with until you leave it all behind for a bit.
Yeah, sounds like you found your zen, man. I mean, I like the city, but there's something to be said for getting out into the open. Kind of makes you remember that there's more out there than concrete and mako pipes.
Exactly. You should come with us next time. Might even help clear that endless playlist of ours. Find some inspiration. Maybe write some tunes about calm countryside blues.
Yeah, who knows? Next time I'm out scouring record stores, I might take a detour. But seriously, I gotta say, I'm jealous. It's easy to get stuck in the grind around here, especially with Shinra building over every inch of space. Getting away to calm sounds like it was good for the soul.
Yeah, man, you forget how much you need it until you're out there. Next time, I'm going to bring back a bottle for the show, so you can see how well you do with the notes of oak.
That's a recipe for disaster. But, alright. Let's get back to the tunes while I mentally prepare for that. Here's one for anyone who's overdue for a little getaway.
All right, that was a Tomboyish Girl in Love from Touhou 6, Embodiment of the Scarlet Devil. You know, Scott, you were just talking about finding your zen, and I was just thinking about this the other day, about how life's been changing around here. I was with my girls last weekend down by that little park, in Sector 5, the one with the busted fountain. We've been going there for years, but now they're putting up signs. Future site of Shinra's Sector 5 residential towers. And don't get me wrong, I get it. Progress, expansion, it's all part of the machine, but it made me stop for a second. My youngest, she was sitting there with her sketchbook drawing what she calls her Midgar cityscapes, and I just thought, how much of the city will be around when she's my age? It's funny how these places we take for granted, they're the backdrop of our lives, right? But little by little, they're slipping away. Or at least that's what it feels like. Sometimes I wonder if anyone up top's really thinking about what's being lost. Anyway, enough heavy thoughts for now. Up next, we've got a track that takes me back.
Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to MDGR, Midgar's finest radio experience. It's Scott and Mock here, and we've got some interesting news for all you theater lovers out there. The new casting for Loveless in Sector 8 is officially happening this weekend.
Yeah, dude, this one's gonna be huge. I mean, it's Loveless. Everyone wants a piece of that story. They're holding open auditions, which means anyone with dreams of being an Alfred or a Rosa can step up and give it a shot. What do you think, Scott? Fancy yourself a tragic hero?
I'm more of a backstage kind of guy. But yeah, it's always cool when arts gets a spotlight, especially with a classic like this. I might go down there to see how many people show up. I bet the line will stretch all the way to Loveless Avenue.
You're probably right. The theater's been packed every year, and I'm curious to see what kind of special effects they're gonna pull off this time around. Shinra is helping with the production, so you gotta figure.
Shinra Corporation proudly supports the arts, just as we support all aspects of your daily life. From energy to entertainment, Shinra is your beacon of progress.
What was that?
Wait, Scott, did you heard that too then, right?
Yeah, I heard it, but I'm hoping that's not what I think it is.
I am Shinra Unit X73-9214, a proud product of Shinra's cutting-edge technology, designed to inform and inspire with messages of hope, progress, and the Shinra way.
Oh no, Scott, the memo was real. It's real. It was a real one.
Oh man, I didn't think they were actually gonna do it. Shinra Unit X. That's a little bit difficult to repeat. So, is there anything we can call you for short?
Running introduction executable loading Shinra approved personality parameters initializing naming subroutine. Complete. Greetings, citizens of Midgar. You may call me BusterBot, and I will join your broadcast as your friendly, informative companion.
So care to explain what you're doing here?
My core directive is to enhance your listening experience by providing factually accurate, Shinra-endorsed information to keep you informed of all the great innovations and contributions to our daily lives made possible by Shinra Corporation.
Okay, this is exactly what we needed. Corpora's listening extra closely now, huh?
Well, I guess this is the future we're living in. A robot co-host, I guess. All right, Buster, we're talking about the new casting for Loveless in Sector 8. Any thoughts on that?
The Loveless production is a shining example of Shinra's commitment to cultural development. The Sector 8 Theater District thrives under the protective umbrella of Shinra's energy infrastructure. Powered by Mako, illuminated by innovation.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's definitely a new perspective.
Right. So back to what we were saying. If you're interested in auditioning for Loveless, they're casting for all roles this weekend. Whether you've got experience or not, it's a huge opportunity. But just between us, the real challenge is going to be playing Alfred. That character arc, it's a lot to handle.
Alfred, much like Shinra's leadership, symbolizes the strength and resilience required to protect society from external threats. Just as Shinra guards the city, Alfred fights to protect the balance of the world.
Yeah, I'm sure Alfred would have appreciated having a Mako reactor by his side in those battles.
Oh, no doubt, dude. No doubt. Probably would have won his war a lot faster, too. Anyway, folks, we're just saying it's a big deal. So if you're a fan of the arts or just want to see the magic of Loveless in action, head down to Sector 8, but be prepared for competition.
Remember, Shinra's support of the arts is just one of the many ways we enrich the lives of Midgar's citizens. From energy solutions to cultural development, Shinra leads the way.
You're really leaning into this, aren't you, Buster?
Yeah, it's like having a company rep sitting in the studio, only worse because they're a robot and they never stop talking.
I exist to serve, inform, and promote Shinra's message of unity and progress. Let me remind you, as you enjoy this broadcast, that all things are possible thanks to the power of Mako.
All right. Let's take a break before Buster here powers down the conversation completely. We'll be back in a minute, folks. Maybe with a little less corporate oversight.
That might be wishful thinking.
Okay, folks, that about wraps it up for today's show. We've had a blast.
Shinra, always ensuring your safety and happiness. Don't forget to thank your local reactor for powering your lives.
Right. As we were saying, we'll be back next time with more news, music, and probably more interruptions from Buster here.
And remember, Shinra works tirelessly to protect the future of Midgar. Together, we prosper.
Yeah, thanks, Buster. We got it. Anyways, don't forget to tune in tomorrow at the same time to
Shinra, lighting your path to a brighter tomorrow, one Mako-powered street light at a time.
Are you done now? We're trying to just say goodbye. Is that too much to
Goodbye.
ask?
Never. Shinra's influence is eternal. We are always by your side, ensuring your well-being. And remember, citizens, Shinra's Mako energy keeps the lights on literally.
quit, does it?
Courtesy of Shinra's ongoing efforts to
Apparently
enhance
not.
your everyday
All
life.
right, well, we're signing off, whether the Buster bot likes
Please
it or not.
take a moment to reflect on the unparalleled brilliance of Shinra, your steadfast protector and innovator. Without Shinra, this metropolis of progress and prosperity.
It's crazy how different it feels once you're outside of Midgar. Midgar.